Viewer discretion is advised.
If you just know you're that girl,
yeah,
you just have no choice but to be that girl. And I feel like I'm that girl.
What if you don't wake up feeling like that girl? How do you be that girl?
You need to go back to sleep and wake back up again so you can feel like that girl.
There you have it, child. That's why I feel like I'm the T. I feel like I'm the T because I work at being the T. Like, no shade. I'm not the T just because a bunch of bitches like me and live for me because we all homegirls. I'm the T because I'm the motherfucking T. And that's just sad. I mean, that's just what it is. People legit in the world love to live for foolishness. Love to live for foolishness. Love to live for your bald head homegirl that just bald head whole shit. It's clear that I'm working at being the C, so girl, let me be the C. Like, give me that, give me my flowers.
Don't act like I'm average. You want me home, I get you what you want. Superstar status, but you won't be alone. You fill me up and now it's down and out, but I don't want you waiting around for me. I don't want you waiting too long. See, I'm a star, look at me from afar, halting me down to earth. When you nesting on Mars, you comment on how I move. Too much space to assume, but I'ma tell you the truth. Shit, now, when I'm gone and I'm wrong, run the globe for 3 months, that's too long. Without something that's sweet, so I phone with the treats. That's a snack, not a feast, they don't mean much to treats. That's a snack, not a feast, they don't mean. Don't act like I'm average, you want me home, I get you what you want. Superstar status, but you won't be alone. You fill me up and now it's down and out, but I don't want you waiting around for me.
Sometimes we can't take on everything. Yeah. That's strength. Vulnerability is strength. Being able to have a good cry is strength. Yeah. And letting people see you and not caring what they think so you can get free from whatever bondage you're in. That's strength.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't had a chance to do so by now, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And to go a step further, please tap the notification bell. That way you'll be updated each and every time I'm uploading something new, okay? And to please follow me on Instagram at ybent.tv, as well as my business page at TYKANATURALS. If you would like to support the platform in a monetary way, please feel free to do so. I'll make sure to put everything up here on the screen as well as in the description box for easy access. All right, y'all. So we got to get into some things, honey, okay? First on the docket is, did y'all get into the Drink Champs podcast recently, where they had the pleasure of interviewing B2K? Of course, the queen herself, Omarion, was not in the building. You know, those girls don't get along, child. They too busy fighting and fucking each other's girls and, you know, being underhanded and nasty towards one another. Hello, God, but we'll get into that in a minute. But this Drink Champs podcast, I got to talk about them again. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. We are getting firsthand, like, remember Driven? Like, we don't even need Driven anymore. VH1 storytellers or, you know, True Hollywood Story on a lot of these, you know, rappers and old school R&B groups, because Drink Champs is coming through with the in-depth interviews, and we're getting everything we need, require, and desire, bitch, okay? So let's lock into the B2K interview real quick. One of the things I have to say that I didn't like about this shit was the fact that this whole time, I forgot how long this interview was, but it was long as hell. I think Jesus walked and it didn't take that long, okay? They stayed on the neck of Omarion the entire time. And I asked myself why. And it just had me so like, can we get to know more about your guys' life? Where you all have came from. We got a little bit of those things, but it was just like everything was centered around Omarion. You guys gave a narcissist exactly what it is they need, require, and desire to continue living in the realm of this reality. You know, when you start feeding spirits, they become physical form eventually, right? This is the same thing with narcissists. You continue to feed their ego, you continue to feed their pride and this self-love and loathing that they have for themselves, right? And that's a dangerous combination. So that's the one thing I really despised about this entire interview, was that Omarion this, Omarion that, oh did this, oh did that. Okay, girl, it is what it is. You're not the first group to have experienced the one true queen diva who separates herself from the group. And let's be honest here, he really didn't have many of successful moments being by himself. Okay, he had the Icebox song. He had the oh, 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 oh. That was a good song, honey. Make it say, oh, in the morning. Girl, I laid pipe up. Well, someone laid pipe to me many times off of that song, Hello God. Okay. And that's what it's supposed to be, which was talked about in great detail by Lil Fizz. Apparently, he was the, you know, the supporter behind him creating that song. And then as soon as Omarion was successful in the song, he ghosted him. He was no longer his confidant in that way anymore. Which is what divas do, girl. Which is what narcissists kind of, they use you for what they can use you for, and they move on, girl. Especially if what you've helped them do becomes successful. You are no longer needed, required, and desired in their eyes anymore. So why are you so surprised? Let's be honest here. Let's take this all the way back. Omarion would not have been shit if it were not for B2K. So I can understand, we would have not have known him if it wasn't for his time in this boy group. Let's just tell the truth on that. Because if you were a true star, you would have been able to blossom without even stepping foot into that arena. Let's be real. No one was pushing you. From what we can tell from the stories that were told, no one was pushing Omarion, the artist, the singer, the entertainer girl, the performer girl. No one was pushing you before. They pushed you to be in a group. You got the little notoriety. You played your little politics, Hello God. You played your dirty hand. That was always your intention, to just get what you can get real quick and then leave. Because if it wasn't your intention, why would you have snitched on the boys for planning to jump ship, or for planning on having real hardcore conversations about where the fuck is their money? If it were not for you having these conversations with the label or management behind the group's back. And can we be real here? I didn't even watch that versus between Omarion and Mario. How in the hell... First of all, Omarion doesn't have 20 hits on his own. B2K does, as a group. Whoever even thought of... That's how you know Omarion is sucking the right amount of dick. Riding the right amount of cock to get the things in which he does not truly deserve. You haven't worked for that. Your group worked for that. B2K should have had a versus moment. Who they would have gone against, I have no idea, because there wasn't many boy groups during their reign, especially black boy groups, that were even remotely successful as they were. Because let's tell the truth, B2K had some things going on. They were an era, girl. They were a time. Okay? Like, give those boys their things. Moving on to some more of the interview, I did not like how they kept trying to discount and sun, Hello God, shout out to Cats Meow, tried to sun Raz B. Like, huh? But then turn around and say, well, if it wasn't for Raz B, a lot of this shit wouldn't have been successful. Apparently, we love to call Raz B crazy and all in his head, right? But apparently, he is friends with a lot of billionaires and millionaires and investors and people that actually, you know, keep the name B2K alive with merchandise and, you know, different creative endeavors. So y'all over here disrespecting that man, but in the same breath have no choice but to give her flowers. Hello, God. And another question, how many Xanaxes did it take to calm him down? And it almost seems like the reason y'all kept trying to, you know, act like he didn't exist or belittle his statements or his thought process, Hello God, is because you were afraid he was going to go on one of his famous rants. But don't worry, because all of that was shot down immediately, because DJ EFN and Nori tried their best to, and this is what, they're good interviewers, but you have to be strategic in the way you ask your questions. You probably would have got an answer from him on the Chris Stokes and the allegations of, you know, sexual impropriety, girl, Hello God, that Raz B used to be ranting about for many moons, girl. But you got shot down, girl, because y'all didn't know how to formulate the questions the right way. He did not want to talk about that. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's not fair. Raspy, yeah, you may be well now and all of that good stuff, and I'm happy for you, baby. But you went on and on and on and on and on and screamed to all the gods, the old and the new girl, everyone, girl, to the mountaintops, bitch, that these people played in your privacy, girl. They played in your private parts, girl. So when you're asked publicly in an interview, that's a moment in time. That's a moment in history. That is a reference point to how people even kind of really know who the fuck you are, too. Continue to know who you were. I'm sorry, when you do public shit and you finally get into an interview space, don't be mad or don't be trying to run around the bushes of life, girl, because you don't want to answer those questions. Okay, and this is a perfect time to ask because you claim to be okay now, right? You're stable mentally, right? So talk about it. Y'all are public figures. These things transpired publicly. You owe the people because the people put y'all where y'all at right now, period. I didn't like either that Lil Fizz just was the talker. He was the speaker of the group. I understand why towards the middle end, because J Boog could not hold his weed, girl. He could not hold his high or his drink, girl, drinking consumption, girl. Like, what? Y'all are grown men now. You can't hold your own? J Boog was laid out to pasture, girl. And Raz B was stuck in a vortex of his own making. So I guess Lil Fizz had no choice but to take control over the situation because it seemed like they wanted him to anyway. Let him be the mouthpiece. We'll make Mr. Lightskin the mouthpiece for the group. Okay. But I did not know about a lot of that underhanded shit that Omarion and management and a lot of these people that were working behind the scenes. Like, but let me tell y'all something. We learn. Hello, God. We learn from all the fucked up mistakes, but TLC is a reference point. Tony Braxton is a reference point. You got a lot of people that are reference points of how they were cheated and fucked out of their contracts, out of their money. Girl, get you a lawyer. Entertainment lawyers, that's what they are for. To read your contracts to make sure that you're not getting screwed in the end. Okay? All right. But shout out to the interview. It was really cute. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, get into it. All right? I also wanted to talk about this. Did y'all hear that 50 Cent had to ban Trey Songz from his, I guess he does like this big ass party in Texas every year or something like that. And 50 Cent had to ban Trey Songz from the event, girl, because apparently Trey Songz, I'm about to call him that, girl. Trey Songz, girl, was drunk as Cootie Brown Honey. He was high as a kite, girl, and apparently being very aggressive with the guests, being real, acting crazy, girl, being real nasty to people. And if 50 Cent is going to ban you for your buffoonery, then you must be doing ultra buffoonery to get banned from one of his, because 50 Cent is the grand master of buffoonery. Okay? Especially when it comes down to like shaming everybody about what they have and don't have. So this just adds more to the validity that Trey Songz is unraveling, and his demise, if not here, is almost here. And it also adds to some possible truth about how he interacts with some of these women who have alleged that he has forced himself upon them. So Trey Songz, this is not looking good for you. And 50 Cent said he does not want to be bothered with your shenanigans, honey. And I don't blame them. Think about it. Trey Songz really hasn't hit on shit in a very long time. Be surprised your name is still on some of these guest lists because, in my opinion, you're no longer considered an A-lister. A-listers have to be consistent in being in the life, being in the light, getting those numbers up, honey. Like, I don't see no one streaming. I don't see no one buying in no old Trey Songz shit. Like, we don't care no more. Once you revealed your piece online, girl, and homegirl was doing a horrible job at handling it, your career went down. And especially all of these women coming out the woodwork talking about how violent and nasty you were towards them. Like, no one wants to be around those, especially ultra successful people that are trying to uphold a certain brand and image. They don't want to be surrounded by your kind of foolishness, honey. So I think that we are seeing the slow decline of Trey Songz, and I won't be surprised if he ends up in prison. I won't be surprised if he ends up in a mental institution or a rehab, because homeboy's probably drinking and stuffing all kinds of drugs down his body, girl, just to cope with, you know, his lackluster stardom, child. When we wish on a star, that's why you have to keep yourself grounded even when you become ultra successful, because in a blink of an eye or over some period of time, there could be a slow decline in a lot of your accomplishments, girl. And in that world, especially the entertainment world, you have to keep up with the Joneses. If you fail to do that, you'll be ridiculed. You'll be blackballed. You won't be invited to the parties no more, because you're a nobody. No one wants a nobody at their party. And at that point, you're just going to be considered a fan. So, I feel kind of bad, but I don't. Again, being grounded. A lot of y'all lose y'all star power, and you have no choice but to humble yourself, because don't nobody give a fuck about the opinion of a nobody anymore. No one cares what you're doing. Look at all these Love and Hip Hop girls that are trying to restart their careers after 1,000 years. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody gives a shit. But anyway, moving on. Speaking of being canceled, so DaBaby, and to think we haven't even heard much about her in a long time, but apparently DaBaby is also on a slow decline, girl, for cancellation. They reported, child, that he had to cancel a concert due to the fact that he only sold 500 tickets for this concert. Girl, what? Girl, what? What? So, yeah, DaBaby. Sayonara, bitch. Let me say this, too. This goes for a lot of rappers who rap in the same cadence, who continue to push out the same type of work, the same flow, the same gimmicks. And it didn't work well with you when people were releasing footage of you really in your earlier career running around here in a fucking diaper. Or the fact we're seeing a lot of things on Dirty Twitter where you are doing some very suspect gay shit that definitely counteracts a lot of your homophobic, you know, belief systems, girl, that you've made so public. Maybe you were the one on your knees in the parking lot at the Rolling Loud, and you were just projecting and deflecting. Girl, please. So I guess, hopefully you saved your money, girl. And it didn't look well for you either for how you treated Danny Lynn, or Danny Lee, whatever the hell her name is. And how you and your team beat the holy life force out of her brother down to the bowling alley, girl. How you treated those kids when they were trying to sell you chocolate. So all y'all be having these big grandiose, you know, egos, child. These personas that you carry, we have to stroke your ego, girl, and make you feel, nah. Eventually it all fades away. Shout out to Mariah Carey. Hopefully y'all are stacking those chips, girl. Anything else I wanted to talk about? I briefly did want to shout out Mississippi. This water crisis that they're enduring. First of all, it's like Flint, Michigan all over again. They still don't have clean water, by the way. This is my thing. Water doesn't just become brown overnight. Just because water is clear does not make it clean. Let's make that very clear. This had to have been an issue that was plaguing these communities for a very long time. And it sucks that it's only noticed when the water is brown. These pipes that are eroding and corroding and, you know, depleting because of age and the lack of maintenance and all of that stuff, right? This is something that takes many, many years. Okay, this is many years. You're telling me that the city, when it's their job, when it comes to our bridges, our construction, all of our major like public situations, especially our fucking water systems, They do these routine checks at least several times a month, several times a year, however they're supposed to. You guys, let me tell y'all something about, we talked about this last time when we talked about the commissioners of these cities and stuff. Y'all get these budgets, right? You put the budgets out, the state approves the budget for whatever your needs. So like water, what do they call it? Public Works Department or some shit like that. Let's just say they get $85 million. What they do is they hold these events. It's like an auction. All the businesses come forward. Let's say they need bridges to be reconstructed or remodeled, right? They have all of the local construction people that are obviously certified and licensed. They bring them to the table and they hold an auction to find out who's going to give them the better price. Because some more people need to work more than others, they'll bargain lower. So here we go, $85 million to fix our roadways or to fix our water structure, right? You're going to pick the cheapest person. Then what do you do with the rest of that money? You pocket it. Either realizing or not realizing that you just paid Home Depot workers, hello God, to do a subpar job. You should know that in the back of your mind. They're not going to use the real tools necessary to make sure that this bridge or this water system lasts the 20 years it's supposed to. It's probably going to last half that, if that. Because you wanted to line your pockets with public funds. And then this becomes so public and devastating, they try to explain it away. No. Because if you guys were truly doing your jobs, we wouldn't even be having these conversations right now. So I suggest that if it hasn't been already addressed, an audit needs to happen. There needs to be a forensic audit done. And I think that's something that needs to become a regular practice in every city, every state, all the time. We need to make sure that these funds that are public funds, that means taxpayer dollars, we need to have an accounting of every fucking cent to make sure they're going to where they're supposed to go. That bridge in Miami, that condo down in Miami, the bridge was a few years before. The condo, I think, was like last year sometime, child. You know, like, let's be honest here. It went down because of human error. A lot of these planes crashing are crashing because of human error. A lot of these major public structures are falling to pieces and killing folks and hurting people because of human error. Because you want to line your pot, you greedy bitches want to, while we're going hungry, while we're the ones falling down like Humpty Dumpty, bitch, and the king's horses and king's men can't put a dead bitch back together again. You want to pay their family out the money you should have spent on making sure none of this happened any goddamn way. Or you end up getting mad and having to settle out for even more than what it would have costed you to make sure the bridge or the condo or the water department has what they need in the first place, so none of this shit comes tumbling down on people. Be careful where you're placing your trust, child. That's why I say human beings, they're fickle. And we got to start holding these public servants to the task, girl. For real. Whew, child, that's all I have for today. Be blessed and never stress, child. Drop in the comments, engage in the commentary, honey. What are your thoughts, hello God, on these topics that I presented before the court today? And remember that health is wealth, y'all. Take care, bye.